When we look at the history of Sikhs, there have been ebbs and flows of peace and struggle, but there has been fierce struggle, looking at the Mughal empires, the British Empire, and more recently the Indian nation state. Sikhs have used their history as a reference point to evaluate their own identity, their dignity as citizens of a nation. And the problem has emerged that India continues to deny historical facts and downplay the violence committed on Sikh bodies with impunity. Secular India. There have been systematic complaints by people in villages in Punjab that have said that they have seen a patterned response whenever a Gurdwara is built. There is a small temple that is built nearby, and it's interpreted by Sikhs, whether it's real or perceived, as a marker of power to send a message of who's the predominant one. India as stable has been questioned. India today continues to be perched between conflicting nationalisms, the Kashmir, the Naxalites, the Khalistan movement, and many more. But India has to present itself as this coherent nation and really advocating this ideology in current geopolitical times, because it's a very important image for foreign investment. No one is going to invest in India if it's perceived as unstable. So we have to be aware of that. And so what this allows India to do is legitimate the nation and engage in state terror, any opposition that exists. So with the Khalistan movement, we clearly saw how the National Security Act, the terrorist and disruptive acts and activities were fiercely used, even on Sikhs that were guilty simply by suspicion. And so again, another way of looking at this is Indian terror in the name of nationhood and unity. It was actually noted during the militant movement that militancy increased as India used law outside the parameters of human rights. So it very much also speaks to what post-colonial thinkers argue, Frantz Fanon and others, that the first instance of violence is that of the colonizer. And the second instance is the response to the conditions of dehumanization. When I was looking through the reports, I was really caught by Brahma Chalani. He was a correspondent with the Associated Press of America, one of the few journalists from the international press that stayed in Amritsar in 1984. And he talked about how the bodies were transported in municipal garbage trucks. So the Sikh body is symbolically garbage. He also said, quote, "I saw large masculine legs sticking out, and a hanging foreheads and long flowing hair of an apparently unturbaned Sikh." These were bodies that were transported not only in dump trucks, but half filled with sewage. And there are children in those trucks as well as a few women. This is an epitome of absolute dehumanization. These conditions have led Sikhs to critically evaluate their social position and have opted for advocacy of a Sikh homeland. In closing, part of freedom is the freedom to oppose a state which presupposes one's identity and subjectivity. History has shown and continues to reveal today that the Khalistan movement is more than a movement. This is an unexplainable and deep spirit that is alive in the Sikh body. It requires no explanation. It just is. It is not a dream. It is not empty politics. It's more than that. This demand will never die. It constitutes who Sikhs are. A Sikh nation, Khalistan. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Mani Guruji ke Fateh.